Hey guys, shalom. It's been a while. I've been pretty busy with work. I've been doing a lot of extra hours at my job, trying to make some extra money while all the crazy stuff's going on. But so I'm sure as you guys know, the coronavirus has been in the news lately, and it has been dominating the news, and a lot of people are afraid of the coronavirus, and the whole world is freaking out over it. And so I feel this is an important topic to talk about because uh, of how much it's impacting everybody. And I think if we need to have this discussion because going forward, this could keep happening. So we need enough people to become aware of these truths to try to prevent this from happening ever again. Because I believe this will go away soon, and we will the economy will recover to some extent, but this is basically the doors have opened in regards to the countries abusing their power. This is a scary path, and it's definitely headed towards the direction of the one world government that Scripture speaks of. And so I think it is important for us to realize that things are not nearly as bad as they're saying. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. And I apologize, guys, for not doing videos sooner. I've been busy a lot with work. I've been doing a lot of extra hours, doing overtime, trying to make some extra money because right now things are unclear financially. So I want to have extra money just in case. Who knows what's going to happen, right? So that's why I haven't been doing as many video stuff. But so today I have some time to do a video, and I have prepared a little bit for this. So basically, if you guys want to follow along, I don't know if you're using your phones or if you're on a computer browser, but if you want to follow along, I'm using a website called worldometers.info, and basically what this website does is it shows the statistics for the world. It's basically global statistics, and they arrive at these statistics through data and averaging. So obviously, they have no way of knowing that this information is accurate in real time, but they're basically extrapolating based on previous data that they have, trying to make predictions based on how many people they think are dying or suffering something based on the previous year of data that they have. So first of all, for the coronavirus, according to this website, which is giving real updates in real time, it says that there's been 935,000 people who have been diagnosed with coronavirus, and of course, there's probably way more people that have it, but they don't know. And then it says there's over 47,000 people who have died from the coronavirus, and almost 194,000 people have recovered from it. But so 47,000 people have died from coronavirus. Now, a lot of people are freaking out about this, and they think, we know that it's gonna go up. The number is gonna go up, and they say the percentage of the rate of death is much worse than other diseases like the flu. I believe that is probably not accurate because they're basing that data on very incomplete information. A year from now, that could be completely. We could have a much lower death rate. And the fact is, like, for example, Italy. They say Italy has like a 10% death rate, whereas the US has like a 2% death rate. So it can't wildly differ that much. And the fact is, the United States tests more people than a lot of other places. So if we were to test way more people, we would have a lower death rate. But all that said, the coronavirus started in 2019, but on this website, they really started compiling the data for who has died from it. They start the count from January 22nd. Interestingly, I was hired to my job permanently on January 21st, the day before. Just an interesting coincidence there. But so since that time, it started out low. This again was due to their incomplete information. From what they could tell, only 17 people died on January 22nd. Then it kept every new day, more and more people started dying. So eventually, we are here today, 2 months later, and we have 47,000 people who have died from the coronavirus. Now, as of right now, no one is on the live, watching this live, but that's okay. Hopefully, when it's done, if people don't come on, and when it's done, people will be benefited by it, watching it after it's live, since it's being recorded and being automatically uploaded. So, anyways, 47,000 deaths so far from the coronavirus, and that's in a 2-month period. Now we're going to compare what the Worldometer's website says about other types of deaths this year, as well as today. So first of all, today, it says, well, the information is not quite up to date. It has to wait a day to have the full day's stats. So the most up to date we have is March 31st. So on March 31st, it says that 4,535 people were confirmed to have died who had the coronavirus. So 4,000, we're going to round this, okay? We're going to round this to 4,500 people. So 4,500 people died yesterday. Let's just say today, because I'm sure it's going to be roughly the same today. So we'll say 4,500 people died today of the coronavirus. Now, according to worldometers.info, now it defines today on worldometers.info as from the beginning of today until right now. So it hasn't been a full day yet. It's been almost 24 hours, but not quite. So today, it says that 3,161 people have died from car accidents, okay? For the entire year, let's see, for the entire year, it says this year 339,000 people have died from car accidents. So 300 and we'll round it 340,000 people have died from car accidents, compared to only, we're going to round it for the coronavirus to 50,000 people. It says 47,000, but we'll round it to 50,000. So, more than 6 times the number of people who have died from the coronavirus this year have died from car accidents. Suicides, 269,000 this year. And today, 2,500 people have died from suicide. for alcohol, who have died from over drinking, it says, now these statistics are probably not accurate because a lot of bars are closed, right? So, although no, it's probably accurate because people die from alcohol related illness over time. It's not just you drink too much in one sitting necessarily. So deaths caused by alcohol today, 5,866. So more people today have died of alcohol poisoning from the negative health effects of alcohol than have died from coronavirus. And for the whole year so far, 629,000. Then for smoking related deaths, today 11,728 people have died due to smoking. That is nearly well, not quite 3 times, but it's almost 3 times the amount. So we'd say like 2.5. 2.5 times the number of people died from smoking than coronavirus today. And from the beginning of the year until now, over 1 million people have already died from smoking-related illness. And it's the exact number they say is 1,257,355. Now, for malaria, today, 2,303 people have died from malaria today. 246,712 this entire year have died from malaria. For cancer, 19,286 have died from cancer today. Compared to the whole year so far, 2,065,721 people have died from cancer this entire year. Now, you know what? Cancer is preventable. How is it preventable? By proper diet, by proper exercise, living a healthy lifestyle, avoiding harmful chemicals, things like that. So we could really change these things, but we don't. And yet we're freaking out about this, the coronavirus, when it's a substantially smaller number of people who are being killed by it. And then we have for deaths caused by HIV or AIDS. Today, nearly 4,000 have died from AIDS, HIV. 3,951, they say. This entire year so far, 422,825. Now, mothers who have died during childbirth, 727 today. The entire year, 77,743. So as of right now, only 50,000 people have died from coronavirus this entire year, and 77,000 have died from childbirth. So more people have died from childbearing this year than coronavirus. That should tell you something, that this is, so far, people are freaking out over nothing. Abortions. How many abortions have been done today? Nearly 100,000. 99,980 abortions. Actually, in a few seconds, it's going to be at 100,000 abortions, according to the calculation here. 1 second. It's about to be 100,000 here. Okay, so it says now 100,000 abortions have been done today. Now, of course, a fetus at the beginning stage is not at the same level as an adult or a child, and many abortions are done before life has even entered into the fetus. Like during the first few weeks, it's not really alive, in my understanding. So They're not on the same level, but still, a significant portion of those abortions are past the beginning stage. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. And they say over 10 million abortions have been done this year. And then deaths of children under 5 today, 17,896. The coronavirus is basically not killing any young children. So why are we freaking out about the coronavirus when tons of children are dying? Today, as I said, 17,900. So that means about four times the number of people who died from coronavirus today have died, are young children younger than 5 who have died. And those young children are not at risk of dying from coronavirus. So aren't children more important than us? So why are we freaking out over this when we're having tons of children dying every day? Way more. Seasonal flu deaths. Today, 1,146, it says. Throughout the whole year, 122,291. So, as of right now, more than double the people who have died from coronavirus have died from the flu. And communicable disease deaths. It says communicable disease deaths, and that's a big, broad category. It doesn't specify what's counted as part of communicable disease deaths, but I'm sure it's including the coronavirus in communicable disease. So, of the 30,600 that have died today, only 4,500 of those are from the coronavirus. So that means of these other contagious diseases, we have 25,500 about, or no, 26,000 people have died today from contagious diseases that are not coronavirus. And yet everybody's freaking out about coronavirus. It is very illogical. It says here, 802 million people have no access to safe drinking water source. That is such an easy thing for us to change. We, as a society, as a world, you know what we're doing, the government, the American government, they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff to try to help people during this tough time. They're doing all kinds of free money and everything, right? Why can't we do that same thing to solve these other problems? 802 million people don't have access to safe drinking water source. Why don't we pay the money to give everyone in the world safe drinking water? We can do it. We have the ability to do it. We choose not to because we don't care, because if they have bad water, it doesn't affect us. We only care as a society when it affects us, and that is something very hypocritical. Deaths caused by water-related diseases today, nearly 2,000. It says 1,988. And the whole year, 211,818. So more people have died from water-related diseases this year than coronavirus. Way more. People who died of hunger today, 26,408 people, it says, have died of hunger. So far this whole year, 2,813,141. This is mind-boggling. We could solve this problem of hunger, world hunger. We choose not to. We choose not to freak out about it, even though it's a far worse problem. It's far more dangerous, far more harmful to the world than the coronavirus. But you and your family and friends won't die of hunger, so you don't care. And I say you loosely because the person watching this might care, but most people who watch this don't care. Or they say they care, but they don't care enough to freak out about it. Why are we freaking out about the coronavirus and not world hunger? When way more people are dying from world hunger. And the fact is, even if the coronavirus was to get far worse, it still would not kill more people than hunger. You know, it would have to get, the coronavirus would have to kill 6 times more people than it currently is every day to even be to match how many people are dying of hunger every day. It says undernourished people in the world, 841,974,735 people in the world are undernourished. Again, we're not caring about that. We're not freaking out about that because it doesn't affect us, so we have a blind eye to it. But that is very hypocritical. Now, something even further is that, let's see here. So it says that today 331,400 babies have been born. This year, over 35 million babies have been born. For deaths, today 139,160 people have died. The whole year so far, up till now, 14,795,000 people have died this year. Now, when you combine that, it tells us that today, so far, the world population has increased 192,000. Okay, 192,000. And our world population for the entire year so far has increased by 20,446,000. That's a huge increase of people. So, in order, so basically, after all of the deaths are taken into consideration, you count all the deaths on this, we're still gaining. Our population is going up in the world about 140,000 every day. It's going up. So, as long as less than 140,000 people die from the coronavirus every day, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal because the world has so many people. So it's a big deal if the population starts going down. The world population starts going down because of the coronavirus. Like the Black Plague, apparently, supposedly, according to these experts, historians, the world population plummeted a huge amount due to the Black Plague. This is not plummeting our population, not even close. In order to break even and not be losing the world population or gaining, but to be at stagnant growth due to the coronavirus, we would have to have, it would have to be, let's see here, it would have to be, so as I said, 4,500 people died today from coronavirus, or yesterday, that is. And so it would have to be, it would have to be 192,000 to be at the same level as how many people we have gained in the world population today. So almost 200,000 people we would need. So what I was saying is that today only about 4,500 people have died from the coronavirus, and this whole year only about 50,000 people have died. And I just went through showing how today each type of illness or cause of death, how many people have died today and how many people have died throughout this year so far. And I got this information from worldometers.info. And so what I was saying is that it tells us right here. It says that today, 332,000 births have occurred, and this whole year from January till now, over 35 million births. For deaths today, 139,000 deaths, and from the beginning of January till now, almost 15 million people have died. And what it says is that the net population growth, so the world population has actually increased today 192,000. So almost 200,000 new people for the world population growth today. So in order for the coronavirus to be a big deal, the world population would have to radically start dropping. Like with the Black Plague, according to the experts, they say that the world population radically decreased because of the Black Plague. Whereas, as of right now, the coronavirus is only 4,500 people a day as of right now, and about 50,000 people throughout the whole year so far have died from the coronavirus. Meanwhile, all these other things that I told you guys earlier in this video, all these other things, way more people have died this year. So 50,000 people have died this year from coronavirus. Over 300,000 people have died from car accidents this year. And suicides, over 250,000 people have died from suicide this year. For alcohol poisoning, more than 600,000 people have died from alcohol this year. And today, almost 6,000 people have died from alcohol related sickness. And smoking, today, almost 12,000 people have died from smoking related causes. And throughout this whole year from January till now, 1.2 million people have died from smoking. And malaria, 246,000 this whole year so far. And for cancer, today, almost 20,000 people have died from cancer. Today, this whole year so far, over 2 million people have died from cancer. From HIV and AIDS, over 400,000 people have died this year. And mothers in childbirth, this whole year, 77,000 have died from childbirth. That means in this year, more people have died from giving birth than the coronavirus. And abortions, over 10 million abortions this year. And today, over 100,000 abortions have been done. Young children younger than 5, it says over 18,000 young children younger than 5 have died today, compared with only 4,500 people have died from coronavirus today. So, and the coronavirus doesn't affect children much at all. So why are we so worried about these people who are already close to dying? They have pre-existing health conditions, and a lot of these people are in their late age and they'll be dying soon anyway. Meanwhile, tons of people are dying who are younger than 5 years old every day. Almost 20,000 people, 20,000 young children. And yet we're not freaking out about that. From the flu, this whole year so far, 122,000 people have died from the flu. That's more than double who has died from coronavirus this year. And I also mentioned earlier, 802 million people have no access to a safe drinking water source. All this stuff we're doing in the economy, like bailing people out and giving people free money, we could have used that money already. We could have done similar things to give the entire world a water source, a healthy, safe drinking water source. But we're not freaking out about that because it doesn't affect us. It only affects other people, out of sight, out of mind. That's the way the world thinks. But when it affects our friends and family, it could hurt us. It could hurt people we care about. Then everyone starts panicking. Meanwhile, people in third world countries that we don't care about, they're constantly dying. Way worse, way more people are dying, and then people are dying in due to other kinds of sicknesses, but we don't care about that. Why? Because it doesn't threat. It's not a big threat to people we care about. Um, like for example, smoking. Uh, if someone smokes, um, they know that they're harming their health. So it's something we can avoid. If you simply don't smoke, then you're not gonna die from smoking. But with the coronavirus, it's different because it's killing a lot of people um, who seem to not who seem to be healthy. Um, they might have pre-existing health conditions, but otherwise, they could have kept living and then they just die from the coronavirus. So it's scaring people because it seems random. It seems random how it's killing people. That's why people are freaking out, because the appearance is that this is extremely deadly and it could kill anybody at any time. It could kill anybody. That's why people are freaking out, because they have lots of loved ones that are old, and they are scared for their loved ones, because it seems to be unpredictable of who's going to die from it. But that's very selfish, and it's not logical, because way more people are dying from all kinds of other things, and if we were actually caring about people dying and not simply caring about ourselves, we would be freaking out already and trying to solve these problems that are way worse. People who died of hunger today, over 26,000 people have died from hunger today. That's about 6 times the number of people who have died from coronavirus today. And for the year, 2.8 million people have died from hunger this year so far, from January till now. And 841 million people are undernourished in the world, it says. And this is all from worldometers.info. So all that's to say, way more people are dying of other things, and in order for the coronavirus to be something serious, the world population would have to start going down a lot. In order for that to happen, we would need about it would need to be about 50 times more deadly than it currently is. Because as I said, it's about 4,500 people dying right now in one day from the coronavirus, whereas about 200,000 people, the world population is going up by 200,000 people every day. So in order for it to be a serious threat, the coronavirus would have to be killing 200,000 people every day. And that would have to be 50 times deadlier than it currently is. Now, there are 7.5 billion people in the world right now, they say. 7.5 billion is the world population. It's a little bit more than that, but that's the measurements they say, 7.5 billion. And so take 50,000. Right now it says 47,000 for the coronavirus death toll for the world, but we're going to round up to 50,000 because it's going to get to 50,000 soon anyways. So 50,000 people, let's say, have died from coronavirus so far. World population, 7.5 billion. What is the percentage? Well, the percentage is, if you do the math, that is one person has died for every 150,000 people. So, the risk of you dying from coronavirus, or someone you know of dying from coronavirus, is actually very small. It's not 1%. Okay, it's not 1%, because 1% of 7.5 billion people would be, I think, 7.5 million. 7.5 million people would be dying today if it was 1%. So it's not 1% of people dying from coronavirus. It's not 1/10%. It's not 1/100%. So what is the percentage? I'm gonna do the percentage right here. So 50,000 divided by 7.5 billion. Okay, 7.5 billion. The percentage is 0.0006666%. So I believe that is, let's see here. That is one. Well, like what I said, it's one. It seems to be like one over 10,000%, if I did the math correctly. But anyways, like I said, it's one person for every 150,000 people. That's how many people are dying from coronavirus right now. From the beginning of the year till now. Today, 4,500 will run up to 5,000. So that's even less. That is one person in for every 1.5 million people have died today. So the odds of you dying from the coronavirus. Sorry about that. I got kicked off. The odds of you dying from coronavirus today is 1 in over a million. 1 in over a million. That's like winning the lottery. That's how unlikely it is that you're going to die, that someone you know or you is going to die today. Now, of course, that's just from a blind percentage. If someone has the coronavirus, then the likelihood that they'll die from it goes up, right? It goes up if you have it. And apparently, of those confirmed to have it, the older people, like people older than 80, have like a 15% death rate. So like 15% of people over 80 or something crazy like that, die from the coronavirus. But that's of only people who have been confirmed to have it. And so you know people think, oh wow, 15% of old people, of like 80 years and older, who get it, they die if they have the coronavirus. That's true, but how many other people older than 80 didn't get the coronavirus? So overall, the percentage of old people dying is also very tiny. It is very tiny overall. So the way the world is freaking out is disproportionate to how many people are dying. If we're freaking out because so many people are dying, then we're being hypocritical. Because so many more people are dying, and so the logic people are using to shut down the economy and make it so that no one can do anything, the logic is, if we do stuff, it's going to kill people. Really, it's going to kill people. Way fewer people are being killed by this than other things we're doing all the time. Like, we are willfully depriving the world of resources. We have enough food to feed the entire world. The world grows enough food to feed everybody. The world has enough water to nourish everybody. It is our country's selfishness that we don't do those things. And anything this has shown us is that the world is capable of solving the problems. They are capable of it. They could, the governments that are forcing these shutdowns, they could force free food for these people. They could force so that everybody gives the poor people food to eat. They could make it happen. They choose not to. because it doesn't affect them. They don't care about it. As soon as the coronavirus comes, it's affecting people's loved ones that they care about at a higher rates than they are comfortable with. So that's why they're freaking out about it. It's not logical. It's emotional based. Emotional based freaking out, and very it's very comical. It would be very comical if it wasn't affecting us. It's affecting people we care about, because when I say it's affecting people we care about, I don't mean the coronavirus. I mean people freaking out is affecting us. Um, tons of people are losing their jobs, and a lot of people actually are dying from other things because the hospitals are being overrun with coronavirus people, and people who need help are being turned away so that coronavirus people can be taken care of. Um, and the reality is, our immune systems were designed to come into interaction with sicknesses and viruses. And if we receive the virus, if we have a healthy body, it's going to repel it. And according to the Bible, we know that it is not our responsibility. It is the responsibility of everybody to take care of their own health. What does the Bible say? It says, if you do something unclean, or if you touch uncleanness, you have to wash. It doesn't say I have to wash you. So, if you touch anything that the law of Moses in the Old Testament says makes you unclean, it is your responsibility to wash before sunset. If you do not do that, you are bringing uncleanness, unhealthiness upon yourself. That applies to viruses, by the way, and bacteria and diseases. If you wash before sunset of your uncleanness, that it increases your immune system response and protects you from viruses and harmful things. If you don't wash yourself, you are responsible for bringing uncleanness upon yourself and harming yourself. So the way the world is designed is there is uncleanness everywhere. There is unhealthiness everywhere. You're going to come into, it's impossible to avoid unhealthiness. You would have to leave this world to avoid unhealthiness. You would have to not exist. The fact is, you do exist, therefore you inevitably will come into contact with germs, diseases, viruses, and your immune system was given to you by God. It will protect you. You will not suffer from the coronavirus if you have a healthy immune system and you are living purely and healthy and avoiding. You have to obey the commandments, and one of the commandments is avoiding interaction, fellowship with those who are living unclean lives. So, but if you do interact with people who are living unclean lives, you can severely limit the risks of the damage it will do to your health if you simply purify your body and wash before sunset, it says. So I believe the reason before sunset is because near sunset, I believe there's a chemical reaction, and that the water being on your body, it protects you. It washes away the uncleanness, and if you have uncleanness on you at sunset, I believe as the sun is setting, the atmospheric changes, the light going down interacts with the chemicals and the molecules or whatever, and it creates chemical reaction, and this of course is based on my understanding of scripture and my limited understanding of science, but I believe, based on what scripture says, that there is a scientific component to washing before sunset. And if you don't do that, then the actual sun setting has a chemical reaction that causes whatever uncleanness is on you, whatever germs are on you, to be empowered and to harm you. like kind of like when lots of bugs come out at night, right? When it's nighttime, like mosquitoes love to be outside a lot, and lots of bugs. In the same way, I believe that when sunset's happening, these viruses or bugs are becoming superpowered at that time, that window, that small window of time as the sun is going down. There's an empowering of any negative health that is attached to your body. But if you wash before sunset, you are washing the uncleanness away. Therefore, when the sun is setting, the uncleanness is not on you anymore. Therefore, it's not being empowered. If the uncleanness is still on you and you haven't washed yet before sunset, then the uncleanness is empowered. It's made stronger, and because it's made stronger and it's still sticking to your body, it then clings to you and becomes absorbed into your body, and the uncleanness, the unhealthiness, enters your body and weakens your body and causes you damage to your health. That's how I think it works. So basically, we know from Scripture there's the blessings of obedience. If you obey God, you will be protected. You will have good health. And so as long as you obey God, you will not get the coronavirus. And it is not fair to the righteous to say that they cannot fellowship together. Like, they are literally arresting people who are going to church. They are arresting people, pastors, who have church services. This is evil. This is tyrannical. And it is not what Scripture says at all. The righteous do not have to isolate. It is the unhealthy that need to isolate themselves. The sick people need to isolate themselves. And so it is not my responsibility for you guys to take care of your health. If you're smoking, that sin is on you. I'm not going to give you a cigarette, but I'm not going to take the cigarette away from you. That is your choice. You bought it. You have it. Now, if I was in control of the government, I might ban cigarettes. I think cigarettes should be banned. But because they're not banned, it's not my responsibility. As a human being, I can't control people's actions. It's not right for me to force my will on other people. So I can tell people don't smoke, but at the end of the day, it's their decision, and I'm not going to lose any sleep over it because you know what you're doing. In the same way, if you eat unhealthy food, you're going to give yourself cancer. You're going to give yourself heart disease. And at the end of the day, I don't feel bad about it. I'm not going to lose sleep over it because you are heaping it upon yourself. The same thing with the coronavirus. You know, there are so many people who are not getting the coronavirus or who do have it but have no symptoms. And I believe if you have no symptoms, you don't really have it. So a lot of people are being tested and they say, oh, this person has coronavirus because it's in their system. It's in their body. But I don't think that's accurate. What I mean by that is, yes, it's in their system, but I don't think it's fair to say that they have it, like that they are diagnosed with it. It's like if someone is a traveler and is just simply passing by, like for example, if you are driving through a state, let's say you're on a road trip and you're going from New York State all the way to California, and you're traveling through the states. Well, as long as you don't stay at a state, you might be driving through a state, but you're not in that, like you're not staying in there. You're just passing through. In the same way, people who are not having symptoms, the virus comes into your body, it's passing through it. It will if you are tested, it'll say yes, you have it because it's inside you, but it's not clinging to you. It hasn't infected you. So you don't really have it, in my view. You're not truly diagnosed. So they're falsely diagnosing people as having the coronavirus. They don't actually have it. They're not actually infected by it. The virus is simply passing through them. As it's passing through them, it can then pass on to other people. So I could have the coronavirus for all I know. I have a job right now, and I go to work. I interact with other people. I may have it, but because I'm being a healthy person, not perfectly, there's some things I'm not doing. I'm not actually washing before sunset always when I should be, because I have some uncleanness and unhealthiness sometimes, and I don't always wash it before sunset. And yet, because I eat healthy, I eat pretty healthy, and I live a pretty healthy life. So even though I'm not doing everything properly according to the law, like health wise, there are some things I'm not perfectly doing. I do enough good health choices that it is protecting me. I'm sure it's protecting me. And so, as long as you do healthy choices for yourself, as long as you eat healthy, you're going to have high protection from coronavirus. If you obey God simply, you will not get it. But you could pass it to someone else. But again, it's not your responsibility to worry about, because viruses and germs come into contact with us constantly. You're gonna pass germs to people. That's just the way the world is. Um, it is not my responsibility to make sure you have good hygiene. So someone else needs to do good hygiene. They say for everybody to wash their hands. I can't control if other people wash their hands. So if someone doesn't wash their hands after touching me or interacting with me, that's on them. I wash my hands. I try to be healthy and hygienic, but if someone else is not being hygienic, it's not my fault. It's not my responsibility. If someone else gets coronavirus, it's not my fault or responsibility. As long as I am not showing symptoms. If I have symptoms and I'm intentionally spreading it to people, that's on me, and I'm wrong to do that. But if I don't have symptoms, then it's not my responsibility. I am living a healthy life, and as long as these other people live healthy lives, they will not suffer from coronavirus. So basically, that's the main gist I have. The main takeaway from this is that we don't need to worry about the coronavirus. According to Scripture, this isn't nonsense. According to science, it's nonsense. Practicality, there's no reason we're freaking out about it. The only reason we're freaking out about it is because it's killing some people that we care about at a rate that is hard to predict, and it seems to be random, and so we are afraid that it could kill people we love without any warning. And because of that, everybody's freaking out, and we really, if we're being fair and honest and consistent with ourselves, we will realize this is not a big threat. It's not a big deal. Tons of people are dying every day. You know, according to this website, it says, what did it say? Every day, how many people are dying? Every day, about 150,000 people are dying every day. So, people die every day, and you know who dies? People who live unhealthy. So most of the people who are dying from coronavirus are unhealthy people. A lot of them are older people who have diseases and who could die of anything at any time. And then there's only a small percentage of younger people dying, and most of those people, I'm sure, probably have some unknown health problem that they didn't know about that caused them to die. The reality is, as long as you don't have major health problems, the coronavirus is not going to kill you. It is going to simply give you like, if you have a bad cold, or if you have if you have the flu. A lot of people get flu and they live. So as long as you don't have major health problems, you're not going to die from the coronavirus. It'll be like a strong cold that will make you feel crappy, but it's not going to kill you. The only people it's killing are people who made sinful choices in their life and who are unhealthy due to those choices that they made. They made those choices, those life choices. Why is all the righteous being punished for the sinful choices of the sinners? These people, why, one of the things is that a lot of people who smoke they are far more susceptible to dying from coronavirus. So why are those people who smoked? Why is their sin of smoking being put on me? And now I can't hang out with people I care about because people smoked. I can't hang out with people because people eat pork. That's the logic here. Because all these people are making foolish choices in their health. Now we can't. The healthy people can't spend time together. Otherwise, they're considered breaking the law. They're arresting people who gathered for church, as I said. This is wicked. This is evil to punish people who are healthy and living righteous lives from gathering with other believers. So this is something we need to be very vigilant about going forward, because this is the first time this has ever happened, but this is not going to be the first time. This type of things, they're going to try to do this again. So because of this, we need to do everything we can to prevent this from happening again. Make sure when you're voting later this year, the people who have made this happen, vote them out of office if you can. I live in New York State, and the governor of New York State is Cuomo. So the people in New York State who do not agree with what Cuomo has done, they need to vote him out and replace him with someone else. Because what they are doing, what the world is doing, is unacceptable. We can't let them step on us like this. They're stepping all over our liberties, our rights. They are not letting us assemble and be together with other people. And we have the right to break the law if the law is unjust. We know this from the past of our histories of our nations. Like if you talk to the experts, they will tell you don't break the law, right? And yet, if you ask those same people, well, what about other times when the law had to be broken because those were unjust laws? They would say, oh yeah, well, in those cases, the government was corrupt and the law had to be broken. You know, the U.S. is founded on breaking the law. How do we break the law? We declared independence from Britain and said, of course, not everybody here is from the U.S., but I am from the U.S. and speaking from my country, my country declared independence, and that was an act of illegality. It was illegal. And yet we considered it justified because the government of Britain was considered corrupt by the founding fathers of America. So, by that same logic, if the government is doing something unconstitutional or just simply corrupt and evil and unjustified, then we have the right to rebel against it. And if necessary, create a new form of government by force. I'm not advocating for that right now. I'm not saying we should overthrow the government. But these type of actions that the government is doing open the possibility that we may need to take those actions if this keeps going on and they don't stop this. And so I refer to this as their great experiment. These countries are testing the limits of what their citizens are allowing them to do. Now that the citizens are allowing them to do this, they're going to do it again, and they're going to try to go even farther. We can't let them do this. Now, a lot of people might think I'm being inconsistent due to I actually believe in communism according to the biblical form of communism, and I want to make another video on that at some point because that's a controversial idea. But so whether you say socialism or communism, the problem is the world's form of socialism is not the same as the Bible's form. The way the world is doing socialism is evil. It's corrupt. It's not in line with the Bible. So this stuff we're seeing right now, this is major socialism. This is major communism stuff going on, where the government is stepping in They are taking over everything. In theory, the government should be doing this, but in a good way, in a non-corrupt way, in a way that helps people and is good for everybody. Instead, what the government is doing is it's hurting everybody for the sake of a few. That's the corruption in uh, unbiblical socialism and communism. Unbiblical form, it helps a few people and it hurts the majority. And that's what we're seeing. So, even though I support communism and socialism in theory, I don't support godless people doing these type of things. Godless people running the government of socialism is very dangerous because while it might be good to help, it's good to help poor people and stuff. These same people, these same socialists, are then also doing very wicked things. So, um, the stuff that's going on right now, so Trump is going along with it. I don't understand why Trump's going along with it. And he's a Republican, obviously. But I think the Democrats and liberals are very much the main proponents of what's going on. A lot of Republicans are supporting this too, but it's the Democrats and liberals who are really honing this in. And so I think they're kind of forcing Trump's hand in some ways. Trump maybe feels like he has to do it in order to make everybody happy. I don't know, but I don't think Trump is doing a good thing. I think this is the worst thing Trump has done his entire presidency. I think a lot of people think differently. A lot of people think Trump is doing the best thing he's ever done his entire presidency, and that Trump is showing true leadership here. He is being a true hero or whatever. I think it's the exact opposite. I think Trump did some good things. He also did horrible things, in my view. But now, this is the worst thing he's done yet. He is allowing the government to be extremely corrupt in a way that is unfathomable. We've never seen this in the history of our country. Maybe even in the history of the world, has never seen this level of tyranny that is being forced on the people. That we can't spend time with people. We can't hang out with people. We can't go to church. We literally cannot go to church. I don't currently go to church anyways, but it's the principle of the matter. People should have the right to go to church and worship God in the way they believe. And to ban worship, that is going back to the early centuries of Christianity when worshiping was banned by the Roman government, and those who were caught were executed. That goes back to the Maccabees. The Maccabees were forbidden from worshiping the Jewish worship, and anyone caught with a copy of the law of Moses was to be killed. Anyone who was circumcised was to be killed. Anyone who refused to eat pork was to be killed. This is all in the Maccabees books. And this is the type of crazy stuff that's happening right now. That people who are trying to obey God and have church, they're being put in prison, in jail. This is scary stuff, and this is very much last days events here. Now, in my view, it's only beginning. This is the beginning, and there's going to be a way long road till the time the Messiah comes back. But we haven't seen anything yet. This is just the tip of the iceberg and how bad things are going to get for believers. So we better be prepared, and we need to work together. We need to come together. My belief, my religion, other scriptures teaches coming together as a community, a commune. The Essenes did this, and the early Christians, the early believers, the apostles, had it so that everyone shared things in common. And so that's the way we're going to survive this going forward. We can't be individual anymore. And we need to come together so we can avoid the government, the stupid stuff the government's doing. Let me tell you what things would be like if you guys were in community with me right now. If we had a community, we lived together in community, we would be a gated community where the government wouldn't be seeing everything we're doing. We would be having church services all the time in private right now during the coronavirus. We would be having church services in secret. We would uh, we would be gathering together every day, playing games in close connection with each other. We would watch movies together. We would eat food together, all together, one big happy family. During the coronavirus, even we would be doing this. We would not be doing 6 feet of separation. We would we would not be freaking out about this. We would say life is life. People are gonna get sick. If you live healthy, you will be protected. And so we would be obeying God, not man, like Paul says, or Peter in the New Testament. We ought to obey God rather than man. So in obedience to God, we would be gathering for worship every day and every week. We would be eating holy meals together, bread and wine, holy meals, bread and wine, according to the New Testament, as well as the Dead Sea Scrolls, the holy meal of the bread and wine. We would be having together. We would we would uh, we would eat together in cafeteria, like a cafeteria of sorts. We would eat with our friends and family. We would hang out. We would play games. We would play sports outside, play video games. We would be in the same room, sitting right next to each other, watching TV or watching movies. This is what the righteous would do in a community. So, going forward, I urge everybody who hates the fact that we can't spend time with other believers, we need to form community. Not everybody lives in the same country. So unfortunately, we can't all live together in the same place. But where you live, try to find other believers, try to have community with them. An actual community, not just a community, but a literal community where you live in a commune, you share everything, you work together as a group, you take care of each other. We can't rely on the government to save us. We can't rely on the government to tell us what to do because the government is overstepping their bounds. They are telling us that we can't do righteous things. We can't we can't spend time with our family. We can't spend time with our friends. We can't worship. We can't go. This is corruption at the worst we've ever seen in our lifetimes and in modern history. It is unfathomable how absurd things are getting. So, anyways, I'm kind of repeating myself here, but that's the main gist of this. So, the takeaway from this, guys, is don't freak out. The chance of you getting the coronavirus and dying from it, like I said, um, the chance of someone dying from the coronavirus today is 1 in over a million, 1 in 1.5 million. And the chance of you getting it this year is 1 in 150,000. So it's very small odds, and of dying from it, that is. You might get it, but to actually die from it, very small odds. And like I said, if you obey God, you're righteous, you wash before sunset, you might be diagnosed with coronavirus, but you're not actually infected by it. So don't let the medical doctors fool you, people. Don't let them fool you. If you were diagnosed with it, that doesn't mean you have it. It doesn't mean you're infected by it. You're infected by it if you have symptoms which are harming your health. If it's simply in your body and passing through it, it might test positive, but that doesn't mean you actually have it, in my understanding. So, and I would say if you don't have symptoms, do not go to the doctors to be tested. Just don't. It's not a good idea in my view. So yeah, guys. Do you guys have any questions or any statements you want to make? Comments before I end the video. It could be about coronavirus specifically, or if you did have anything else you want to say on another subject, please ask away. And the reason I haven't been making videos is I've been because of this coronavirus stuff, I've been doing a lot of extra hours overtime at my job. I go to work every day, and my job is considered essential job, so I have to go into work every day, and I'm doing overtime so that I can make extra money because I don't know who knows what the future's going to be financially. Everything's up in the air. It's unclear. So because of that, I am trying to be proactive. I'm trying to make extra money just in case I need the extra money if we're going into a difficult time in the future. So I haven't had as much free time to do videos, but today I had the time, and it wasn't. I didn't. Today's video I didn't need to do much preparation, so that's why I decided to do the video today. I will be doing. I plan on doing one more video about the coronavirus, probably sometime this week, maybe tomorrow. And basically, what the video is going to be about is telling you guys, based on what Scripture says, what we are getting right about the coronavirus, how we're reacting, and what we're getting wrong about it. Because despite all the crazy stuff that's going on, it actually, some of the principles that are being done are valid, like isolation, social distancing. Some of those principles are valid to a certain extent. So in my next video, I'm going to elaborate upon how some of what's being done is in fact a valid principle when it's correctly applied. But I will then explain how they're overdoing it and how they're going way too far on certain things. Kind of some of what I said today. I'll be repeating some of that in the next video. And then after that, I'm going to start trying to plan again for more videos on textual criticism related matters. So we will get back on track with my Bible project, I promise. And there's a lot of cool stuff to share with you guys going forward. But like I said, one more video to come for the coronavirus issue. And anyways, hope everybody's doing well. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for listening, tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Let's see. Yep, it's a terrible situation they put us in. And there was one other thing I was going to say. Despite how ridiculous things are going, I'm not gonna give any details about this, but basically, something in my personal life has been very traumatic for me in the past, but because of the coronavirus, it is giving me something that I wanted, which I was unable to have. But because of the coronavirus, I'm able to have it in a unique way that wouldn't be the case if the coronavirus didn't happen. So for me, in a selfish sense, for me, I'm actually glad the coronavirus happened because of what it is giving me for something that I have wanted for a long time. And so I feel like I'm blessed because God has given me something that I wouldn't have thought possible, and I don't want to give details about it because it would spoil what's going on for me, but it potentially could spoil it if I talk about it. But it's just a big blessing for me, and so I'm happy for that. And in another sense, I'm happy for the coronavirus because I think the world is evil. Think about it like this. How much sin is being done normally that's not being done because people can't go out? That is a blessing, in a way. Like, a lot of sin that would have been being done is just simply not being done anymore. So praise God for that much less sin is being done because people are staying indoors. And I like the fact that people are suffering mainly because not everybody, but I think a lot of people are evil. So the people who are dying from this, like I said, they deserve to die because of their sinful choices in their life. They are unhealthy because they did sinful things in their life. They smoked, they ate bad food, etc. Because of this, if they come down with coronavirus and die from it, I don't feel that bad for them because they are simply receiving the punishment that God proclaims in His Word, the curses of the law. If you disobey God's commandments, you will be given disease. You will suffer, and you may die. And if you do die, it is you because you were not being faithful and obedient. So it is on you. So in that sense, people die every day. I don't lose sleep over it. I don't lose sleep over people dying from the coronavirus. And I think coronavirus is a godsend in that sense that um, it's a wake-up call for the world and it's punishing rich people basically. A lot of people have lost their jobs. They are freaking out, going crazy, and they are being really depressed and being sad. They are losing their minds, and that to me is a fitting punishment for all the sins the world has done. And this is actually pretty merciful. If the coronavirus is the wrath of God, that's very merciful. Because God, what God has done in the past has been way worse. God has killed everybody in a flood, for example, things like that. God has done way worse. So coronavirus is piddly compared to all the things God has done to punish those who deserve to be punished. So the way I see it, coronavirus is from God as a punishment for those who are sinful. And it may affect some innocent people as collateral damage, but overall, the main people it's targeting are people who had sin in their life. And the reality is, people who are living healthy lives, they will be protected from this. That's why the vast majority of people, no matter what their age is, they are not being harmed by this because not everybody lives super unhealthy. A lot of people eat healthy. A lot of people are generally healthy. So the people who are generally healthy, they're not the ones coming down and dying from the coronavirus. It's the people who live unhealthy lives. They're getting the coronavirus. They're dying from it. So this is blessing from God as a punishment. It's a curse for those who are in sin in their lives. And so rather than crying out to God and saying, "Why, God? Why are you doing this?" The reality is God's doing this because we are, as a society, as a world, we are a horrible people, and we deserve these sicknesses and diseases. And so I'm glad that the world is suffering for their sins, and I hope it brings them to repentance. I hope after all this is done, people come to think and say, you know what? I can't rely on money. Money is not reliable. I need to rely on God. I need to be righteous. I need to repent. I need to start living healthy because I don't want to get sick and die. That's the proper attitude to have. Unfortunately, most people are not going to have that attitude. But the few who do, they could change the world. So let's work together to change the world and try to help people know the truth. And don't freak out, everybody. Just live healthy and we'll be fine. Shalom, guys. All right, that's it. The coronavirus is nothing to worry about, as I have demonstrated in this video. Through the video, at times it said that no one was on. So for those who are here now, if you want to rewatch the earlier parts, feel free to do so. I encourage you. Because no one was on, I was saying a lot of things, and then when one or two people came on later, I then repeated a lot of that information. So I apologize for the repetition, but that's what happens sometimes when you're doing live videos. I need to repeat sometimes. Anyways, that's all I'll say. I'll probably see you guys tomorrow. for my next coronavirus video. Shalom, God bless, peace.